Hello everyone, welcome to the full walkthrough and plot explanation series for Black Myth Wukong. Have you experienced this latest 3A game firsthand? Are you confused by many of the descriptions in the plot? Don't worry, let me explain them to you one by one. Of course, there might be some subjective personal interpretations in the video. If you have different opinions, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments section. Now, let's become the Destined One and re-travel the journey to the west together. At the start of the story, a monkey dressed in golden armor slowly rises. He is Sun Wukong, the great sage equal to heaven. Wielding the Rui Jingubang and standing on the Nimbus cloud, he faces the heavenly soldiers and generals alone. At this moment, he has forsaken the glories of heaven to choose a carefree life back at Mount Huaguo. But the gods above do not want to let him go. Sun Wukong is too dangerous. If they cannot control him, they would rather completely eliminate him, just like the uproar in the Heavenly Palace years ago. The battle is imminent. Wukong's opponent is Erlong, the sacred divinity, an extremely skilled fighter. Yet Wukong holds his own in the battle. Erlong fails to understand why Sun Wukong does not want to be the noble victorious fighting Buddha, but instead wishes to return to Mount Huaguo as a mere wild monkey. Immortality is what many dream of, but Wukong scoffs at it. He believes,
"For that word, all realms and beings have ruined themselves."
In Journey to the West, Wukong witnessed it all. Almost every Yaoguai thought eating Tang Monk's flesh would grant them immortality. Some were once gods, others were great Yaoguai who had cultivated for years. Yet they all became mad under the temptation of immortality. Even the immortals in heaven still engage in endless selfish conflicts. If that is what immortality entails, then it is not worth having. As Sun Wukong and Erlong transform into two birds to continue their battle in the woods, the golden hoop suddenly appears on Sun Wukong's head, causing him excruciating pain. Erlong seizes the opportunity to deliver a fatal blow. This is the last story of Sun Wukong. 500 years later, on Mount Huaguo, a weak, elderly monkey is preaching to a group of monkeys. From his teachings, we learn that Sun Wukong was a naturally born stone monkey with the great divine power of immortality. Despite his physical death, his spirit did not completely dissipate but transformed into 6 relics: craving eyes, fuming ears, hubris nose, envious tongue, grieved body, freed mind. They represent human desires. Only by severing these desires can you convert to Buddhism. The task of the Destined One is to retrieve the 6 relics, meaning to break free from Buddhist control and return to being the complete and free great sage, Sun Wukong. The game's release date was set for August 20th because this is Wukong's birthday. Every player, as the Destined One, is a reincarnation of Wukong. At this point, the player's character appears, a monkey that looks very similar to Wukong. We arrive at the first level, Black Wind Mountain, where after defeating several small Yaoguai, we find a dilapidated, unattended keeper's temple, which also serves as a save point in the game. Plucking a hair and transforming it into incense, the withered tree on the temple blooms again. The keeper of Black Wind Mountain then emerges from the ground. In Chinese mythology, a keeper is a special position, responsible for protecting a specific area of land. After the keeper of Black Wind Mountain shows us the way forward, we encounter the game's first boss, Bulgard. This boss serves as a tutorial to help new players familiarize themselves with the controls. Bulgard has guarded the gate for over 100 years without a promotion, yet remains uncomplaining due to his devotion to the Black Wind King. However, this devotion does not stop the player from defeating him. After defeating Bulgard, we officially enter Black Wind Mountain. Following the path on the left, we meet Guangji, a boss familiar to all players.
Another monkey, I see. Why don't you lay down your weapon and join me in Buddha's mercy? What say you?
In the original Journey to the West, Guangji is a disciple of Elder Jinchi. When Elder Jinchi tries to steal Tang Monk's robe, Guangji is the first to suggest murder and robbery. In the game, he is portrayed as a wolf Yaoguai who desperately wants to be human. He often transformed into a human in his youth to visit the town, but was always recognized and beaten. His fellow Yaoguai said he looked human but didn't smell human. To become a flawless human, Guangji prayed to the Black Wind King to turn him into a young monk, and was then recommended by the king to become a disciple of Elder Jinchi. Initially ostracized by the other monks, Guangji was taken care of and taught by Elder Jinchi, allowing him to gradually fit in. Then, as Tang Monk and his companions arrive at the temple, Elder Jinchi wants to steal Tang Monk's luxurious robe. To repay Elder Jinchi's kindness, Guangji plots to harm Tang Monk and his companions. The game summarizes his character with the lines, "To prove his worth, he gave sinister advice, yet reaped the bitter fruits of his own vice. Though justice remains silent, it never sleeps, and when it strikes, no one escapes its reach." After defeating Guangji, we obtain his weapon, Red Tides, and can then take his form to continue the battle. Moving further into the temple, we see the keeper of Black Wind Mountain hiding, and he warns us not to disturb the Yaoguai King in the temple. If we proceed, we will encounter the game's first Yaoguai King, Ling Suzi. Ling Suzi is a powerful gray wolf guai in Journey to the West. He is a Yaoguai pursuing immortality, but ultimately, Sun Wukong kills him with the Ruyi Jingubang. In the game, the Black Wind King acquires a relic from Sun Wukong that can resurrect the dead. Using this relic, he resurrects Ling Suzi. However, the cost of resurrection is that he must consume the flesh and blood of his own kind to survive. The old Ling Suzi cannot bear to kill his kin, so he chooses to end his own life. Consequently, the Black Wind King finds another gray wolf guai to become the new Ling Suzi. This new Ling Suzi, once an exile from the kingdom of Shizuo, is taken in by the Black Wind King, and his task is to play the role of the new Ling Suzi. However, unlike the old Ling Suzi, who pursued immortality and detachment, the gray wolf cared nothing for the ways of deities and Buddha, nor for the empty promises of eternal life. Instead, his heart was set on mastering strength and skill. He honed his craft with iron claws and fangs until he could strip the very flesh from the bones of his foes. The Black Wind King did not expect such a big difference between the new Ling Suzi and the old Ling Suzi. In his frustration, the Black Wind King used the mantra to try and bring back to life the old monk he used to practice with. But the soul of the monk did not return to the stitched corpse. Instead, it fused with the gold, silver, and copper coins the monk had buried in life, forming a maddened golem. It wandered and disturbed the mountain garrison day after day, never relenting. Yes, if you've played this game, you'll surely recognize this big guy who likes to headbutt. Speaking of Elder Jinchi, we must also mention his other disciple, Guangmo.
This humble one's name is Guangmo. Should my demise come by your hands, please pass this message to my master. Searching for deity, mortals do aspire. Craving immortality, Yaoguais surely will conspire!
Guangmo, the great tactician, was not like his senior fellow pupil Guangxi. From a young age, his heart yearned to be a legendary Yaoguai king, remembered for ages. Elder Jinchi recognized Guangmo's ambition, and thus preferred the honest and loyal Guangji. Guangmo did not genuinely enjoy life in the temple, believing he would one day return to the mountains to embrace his Yaoguai nature, free from such trivial concerns. When he sensed that Elder Jinchi intended to harm Tang Monk, Guangmu seethed with inexplicable rage. In his mind, a scheme within a scheme began to take shape. As Elder Jinchi drank tea with the two monks, Guangmu glimpsed an untamed malice in the monkey's eyes, a hunger for vengeance. Building on Guangji's gambit, Guangmu goaded and prodded, weaving a merciless plot that left no room for escape. The old monk was delighted, and for the first time he acknowledged Guangmu's wit. With his plan set, Guangmu knew that doom would strike that night. Summoning a gust of wind, he hid in the bamboo grove behind the mountain. As anticipated, a great fire broke out that night. But it failed to kill the two journeying monks as intended. Instead, it burned the entire temple to the ground. Alas, the world harbors such petty souls, capable of ensnaring the lofty and vanquishing them with cunning plots. Perhaps this is what is meant by slaying with a borrowed blade. Guangmu's fighting style in the game fits his character perfectly. He is the first boss in the game to launch a sneak attack before the CG even finishes. Guangmo is a snake guai, whose main attacks involve spells and deadly poison. After defeating him, we face the last minion of the Black Wind King, the white-clad noble.
Late is the hour, young one, in which you choose to stain my tranquil abode. Pray tell, to what end do you seek?
Who is also a snake guai. He is another actor recruited by the Black Wind King to play the role of white-clad noble. However, this new white-clad noble is not simple. He appears obedient but always seems mysteriously unpredictable. He is also the first boss in the game with two phases. After defeating the white-clad noble, he says,
"I'm merely my brother's eyes and ears. I feign my loyalty to guard this path on the bear's order."
We will learn from him.
The Guanyin temple now lies in cinders, yet the elder soul endures.
Here, we trigger the first chapter's hidden map. If you observe carefully, you'll find 3 bells in Black Wind Mountain. The keeper of Black Wind Mountain tells us,
3 bells were set in the mountains since the Black Wind Guai's return, yet no one is allowed to go near them.
The first bell can be rung after defeating Guangji. The second is located above the path behind Guangmo, and the third is hidden beside the waterway near the white-clad noble. Here, we can also see the body of the old Ling Suzi hanging. Once all bells are rung, we arrive at the hidden map, ancient Guanyin Temple. Pushing open the temple doors, we see Elder Jinchi's vengeful spirit.
Oh, thank Amitabha! Oh, finally then, the 3 bells sang. Disciples come, I hear travelers approaching my temple carrying new treasures. I cannot see you, but I recognize your odor. You are back? It must be you who took that Kasaya. Now give it back!
Now hideous and blinded by the fire, his greed remains undiminished. Mistaking the player for Wukong, he demands the precious Kasaya. If the player transforms into Guangji during battle, Jinchi will ask, After defeating Jinchi, he seems to repent, shouting that he no longer wants the Kasaya. However, he actually regrets letting the fire destroy his many Kasayas and the Guanyin Temple, which represented his status. As Elder Jinchi's obsessions turn to ash, we return to the reality of Black Wind Mountain. The body of Ling Zuzi at the entrance also disappears with the wind. We acquire the fireproof mantle, which will be useful in upcoming battles. Now, we must face the true master of the mountain.
"500 years. I have rebuilt the temple. Now it's grander in scope. All those monks consumed by the fire turned to wandering ghosts roaming in Black Wind Mountain. It was I who granted them eternal repose. I have even restored the charred scriptures piece by piece. But oh yes, I always knew. One day you shall return.
From the Black Wind King, we learn that he knew we would come here, leading us to suspect that the Destined One's journey is prearranged. After defeating the Black Wind King, he transforms into a black wind to escape, inviting us to a final battle at the mountain summit. Here, we learn a new spell, Cloud Step. As we follow the mountain path to the summit, we see a golden relic at the top of a stupa, which is Sun Wukong's relic. It has been hidden here by the Black Wind King for 500 years. Every day, the Black Wind King worries that someone will come to steal the treasure. When cornered by the Destined One, this powerful Yaoguai king finally reveals his true form, a massive black bear guai. Black Bear Guai sets the entire battlefield ablaze with flames. However, we have already acquired the Fireproof Mantle. With the help of the Fireproof Mantle, we can easily defeat Black Bear Guai. At this point, Black Bear Guai tries to flee with Sun Wukong's relic, but falls from the sky because he cannot control the relic. Black Bear Guai, abandoning his previously arrogant demeanor, grovels and begs for mercy from the Destined One, even calling us young sage. He admits he is just a pawn of the Celestial Court. If given a choice, who would dare to challenge the mighty wrecker of the Celestial Palace? The Keeper also arrives at the scene and confirms Black Bear Guai's words.
He had not the nerve to harm the great sage. There must be someone else pulling all the strings.
Exactly, and this thing is eerie. I have no idea how to make use of its power. Except to enshrine it up there, tricking lesser Yaoguais into offerings. If you pardon me, I'll go back to Guanyin to atone for my actions and be put back on the engaging band. You will never see me out there anymore.
Oh, ignore his nonsense. Go now, little monkey. Go and retrieve the great sage's relic.
From the character story of Black Bear Guai, we can also confirm that his return to Black Wind Mountain was indeed instructed by some higher power. Thus, we have completely cleared Black Wind Mountain and obtained the first relic of the Great Sage. These clues will be gradually revealed in the following story. Let's now enjoy the well-crafted animated short film at the end of Chapter 1.
百卷情，千般缘，色与空，弹指间。 轮回路有万次劫，求不得，闭上眼，一生功名忙如烟，浮沉落花断不绝，涅槃究竟寻常事，有情处不远。口中念，心中言，现世报，却方便。修行路，无名尽，翻动时，莫等闲。一生功名情如烟，最后人物在少年。最是因祸情失眠，谈真知看见。
Master, it still puzzles me. A monk's lust for gold should be quelled. Why does Elder Jinche still cling to that one Kasaya?
Bereft of that Kasaya, how shall they show the world their ties are cut and their lust is quelled?
Across streams, over hills, and through the black wind your blood has spilled. Wolves howl, snakes wind, flames lick, and the smoke blinds. Stumble on the lesser, lame, crash before their betters, shame. With such clumsiness, what destiny do you claim? As the small fish catches its prey, the bigger lurks behind. Who is the bigger fish? I can't see it. As for the prey and the small fish, they are swimming everywhere. In his last life, the monk was Jinchen, the second disciple to Buddha in the West. Yet his arrogance led him to disregard the Dharma teachings. And as a result, the Buddha cast him down to the mortal realm. He was destined to face 81 trials throughout his journey. The fire for that Kasaya was merely the 11th. A mere human, blessed with a lifespan nearing 3 centuries, yet he was never sated. He just had to seize that one Kasaya. Centuries of devotion undone by a moment's greed. In the end, a lost soul became him. How pathetic. A fine guardian for Guan Yin he could have been, yet he came back here to daydream immortality. Sadly, he had the greed, but lacked the pluck. He could fool his followers, but not himself. His destiny was sealed the moment he donned that band. Which deities do most abound upon the earth? The keepers, surely.
Though humble in rank, nothing in the mortal world escapes their eyes. You'd be wise not to spurn their kind, for who knows what powers stand behind them.
Now let's look at this craving eyes with the shape of a flying bird. Its prototype is the Chongming bird. The Chongming bird is a mythical bird from ancient Chinese legends. It resembles a chicken in form, and its call is like that of a phoenix. This bird has 2 pupils in each eye. Hence, it is called the Chongming bird. This is the first relic we have obtained and the theme of the first chapter of the game. What are craving eyes? When our eyes see something they like, our hearts instinctively crave it. Elder Jinshi craved Tang Monk's Kasaya, and Black Bear Guai craved Sun Wukong's relics. Whether it's Jinshi or Black Bear Guai, they remain at the level of seeing the world only with their eyes, not with their hearts. Unable to escape worldly troubles, they are inevitably led to disaster. Before facing Black Bear Guai directly, we encountered 4 bosses: Guangji, Ling Suzi, Guangmo, and White-Clad Noble. They all come from Chapter 16 of Journey to the West, titled The Monks of Guanyin Temple Plot to Steal the Precious Treasures. The monsters of Black Wind Mountain stealthily take the robes, and Chapter 17, titled Sun Wukong, creates havoc on Black Wind Mountain. Guanyin subdues the bear black monster. Let me briefly tell you the story. Tang Monk and his disciple arrived at a temple called Guanyin Temple. The elder of the temple, named Jinshi, loved collecting precious kasayas. By chance, he saw Tang Monk's kasaya. Tang Monk's kasaya, also known as the 9-ring Jinlan kasaya. This kasaya was bestowed upon Tang Monk by the Bodhisattva Guanyin to aid his journey to the West for the scriptures. The 9 rings on the kasaya symbolize the completeness and protection of the Buddhist teachings, while Jinlan refers to the luxurious wave patterns symbolizing the vastness and depth of the teachings. This kasaya is not only an important religious garment for Tangsanzang, but also a magical item that offers protection. Upon seeing the kasaya, Jinshi couldn't take his eyes off it, overwhelmed by greed. At his disciple's suggestion, he planned to fake a fire, kill Tang Monk and his disciples, and keep the precious kasaya. However, the kasaya was unexpectedly stolen by Black Bear Guai, and Jinshi lost his life in the process. Guangji and Guangmo, 2 young monks under Elder Jinshi, suggested the murder and set fire. While their fates are not mentioned in the original text, the game portrays Guangji as a fierce wolf Yaoguai, and Guangmo as a cunning snake Yaoguai. Ling Suzi and White-Clad Noble, friends of Black Bear Guai, met tragic ends. As they discussed the Buddhist robe, Sun Wukong suddenly appeared. Black Bear Guai and Ling Suzi fled, leaving White-Clad Noble to be killed by Sun Wukong's staff. Thinking he had escaped danger, Ling Suzi was also killed by Sun Wukong on his way to celebrate Black Bear Guai's birthday. As for Elder Jinshi's death, the original text describes it thus. Initially, the old monk could not find the kasaya, and then he burned down the temple's buildings. Because he had no plan and was at a loss, he walked with a stoop, and looking at the wall, he walked straight into it. Pitifully, he only managed to smash his head. Blood flowed, and his soul scattered. This explains why game's Elder Jinshi favors headbutt attacks. Look, all for a kasaya. Many ruined their spiritual practice and lost their lives. What was once a tranquil place for monks to meditate, Guanyin Temple, ended in ashes due to flames of desire. Elder Jinshi lived to be 270 years old but never overcame his desires. In the original story, Black Bear Guai first rushed to help put out a fire at the temple. However, upon seeing the kasaya inside, his desire quickly overtook his reason, and he stole the kasaya and fled. The first chapter revolves around these characters, unfolding a tale of greed, desire, repentance, and redemption. Whether humans or Yaoguai, even gods have desires. Let's analyze the ending animation of Chapter 1. As a young and poor monk, Jinshi catches a golden toad in the woods. In ancient China, the golden toad symbolized wealth. Why would a vegetarian monk want to catch a golden toad? It was because an introduction fee was required to enter the monastery. However, Jinchi didn't catch the golden toad, but witnessed Black Bear Gwai killing a merchant and stealing his treasures. Thinking he was about to die, the young monk cowered in place, too afraid to open his eyes. But when Black Bear Gwai handed him a bag of gold and jewels, the shimmer of the gold lit up his world. It turned out that Black Bear Gwai wanted to practice Buddhism and helped Jinchi sneak into the monastery below the mountain. As a newcomer, Jinchi stooped and dared not look straight ahead. Many monks in lavish clothes passed by him. The place was not as peaceful as Jinchi had imagined. As he grew older, still dressed plainly, Jinchi began to wonder why he couldn't be like them. The black bear didn't devour him back then, but now the desires within him, turning into a metaphorical black bear, completely devoured him. Jinchi put on a more luxurious kasaya than others, finally straightening his back, no longer afraid of being looked down upon. He walked faster to the mountaintop, striving to be the most noble. His clothes and shoes became more luxurious, and he took a Zen staff, a symbol of status. Finally, when he looked back, everyone was behind him. All monks had to look up to him. At that moment, Jinchi's desire swelled to its peak. He collected numerous valuable kasayas, showcasing his power and wealth to everyone. When Jinchi thought he no longer needed the expensive kasayas to prove himself, he put on plain clothes again, thinking he had cut off his desires. However, when Tang Monk arrived at the temple with a magical kasaya Jinchi had never seen, the fire of desire in Jinchi reignited, burning even more fiercely than before. In his heart, only the best kasaya was worthy of him. But this kasaya was not his own. This time, the flames of desire were uncontrollable, reducing his painstakingly managed temple to ashes. After the Great Fire, Black Bear Gwai became a disciple of Guanyin Bodhisattva. He asked Guanyin, "A monk's lust for gold should be quelled. Why does Elder Jinchi still cling to that one kasaya?" Guanyin's response is what I consider the most valuable line in the entire game.
Bereft of that kasaya, how shall they show the world their ties are cut and their lust is quelled?
Yes, if I weren't the world's richest person, how would you know I don't care about money? Only when you have everything does the world believe you truly care about nothing. This statement has another layer of meaning. The first step to conquering your inner Yaoguai is always to confront them directly. Bereft of that kasaya, how shall they show the world their ties are cut and their lust is quelled? If you don't place what you desire most right in front of you, how will you know if you can resist the temptation? For Guanyin Bodhisattva, Elder Jinchi and Black Bear Gwai are trials for Tang Monk. And isn't Tang Monk also a trial for Elder Jinchi and Black Bear Gwai? Who is this kasaya? And who is the one who wishes to wear this kasaya? Cause and effect, where can it all be clearly explained? As the ending narration of Chapter 1 says,
As the small fish catches its prey, the bigger lurks behind. Who is the bigger fish? I can't see it.
So, can you be sure which role you play in life? That's all for this video. If you like my content, please subscribe to my channel. I will create more interesting game commentary videos. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.